to talk about this one here. 6:49 at night. And it's still the 29th of April 2023. We were Giant City, Richmond, California. You know, I said before in my earlier on videos that I'd get triggered. And I did. And then there was something innocuous. But I know sometimes these things would happen. And then I remember this show too many times. Watched it too many times. Could have bypassed it, but I kept it on it anyway. I was watching the end of the 10th season of Stargate SG-1. Get into the final and then get to the movies, and that's it. Switch to Stargate Atlantis, and then maybe eventually to Stargate Universe, if I can get through that one. And the thing is, when I was watching this one with Fred Willard, and it plays Vala's father. A never-do-well dad. Always conning, jiving, and well, pillaging, plundering, and that's what he did. Con people left and right. Bullshitted. And Hal Landry and Vala were talking to each other about their own lives, about their own past. Yeah, it reminded me of my own dad. What dad? I had a biological sperm donor. See, my brother at times would have an argument with me, and then they tell me what kind of a rotten bastard his father was, and I said, at least you know the guy. Years ago, when we were still living in the San Fernando Valley, his father was still part of a trucking company, part of marketing and supplies. And he was coming out for a meeting with some other people in the Los Angeles area. It was the only time my brother would actually see him since he was a teenager, or a young teenager. And once in a while, he would have talked to his father on the phone. Once in a while. But he still would tell me stories, and I had to remind my brother, at least you knew him. At least you had a father. He may not have been the best father around, Dave, but at least you had something. It was something you could probably regret the living crap out of, but also be proud that you still had inherited some stuff from him. Give it to Gab sometimes. My brother would shut up. He knew. All throughout my life, he knew that I didn't have a father figure. And my big brother was trying to do what he could. He was trying to be the father figure that I never had, and he was struggling with his own issues. I dealt with one mother. I dealt with elderly ladies that came in my life, stayed for a few years, and passed away. Always leaving a mark on me. A hell of a lot of love I gave them, and then the amount of grief I inherited from the loss of their lives, and still hurts to this day. But I still hold the memories, I still hold the pictures, and I still hold the love in my heart, and it still hurts like a son of a bitch. And at one time I tried to call my father when I was about 5 years old. He hung up on me. My mother dialed a number, handed it, identified herself, tried to identify me to my father. And it phoned to me, try to talk to my biological father for the first time, and he hangs up on me. And I tell you, that's one of the most painful memories. And they made me angry and vengeful and resentful all my life. Jealous and envious about other people having father figures that at least they actually had somebody to care about them, except for a mother. And I had Ma, but I also had Dave, except when he went into the Navy. And I had to deal with what I had to deal with. There may have been other people I wanted Ma to be emulating as a father, or someone else. There was even an argument I had with Ma concerning about how she was treating me, and the hard part was identifying her with one of my uncles. I hurt her real bad on that one. I don't think I've forgiven myself on that one. One of the regrets I still have. She struggled all her life to be someone, I guess. I just couldn't take her seriously enough just to be my mother and love her as such. Authoritative at times, but she still loved. I got older and tried to do everything else I could to please her. But she was probably sorry for some of the things that happened. And I guess maybe we didn't have any serious talk about him in the past. But to think of it as growing older with her, I didn't resent the living crap out of her. I loved her even more. I loved her even more. I had to grow into respect, but also I still had to be a pain in the ass to her because I'm her younger son. What the hell? But she meant everything to me, and so did my big brother. The one thing she wanted to give me was a father figure in her family. But because of certain misgivings and certain situations happening, that didn't happen. She lost out on a chance of love and having a bigger family. Because my brother had to pull a temper tantrum. Decades later, my mom was still being bedridden, but still had her faculties. Dave and Ma talked at great length without me being in there, but they talked. After Ma died, it was only like weeks or months later that we ran into the lost bow. Broke his heart. Found out about Ma. And it's only years later after that we found out he passed away. I would hope the two would reconcile in heaven. It was said that sometimes he would mistreat his kids. And I didn't know until years down the road as an adult. I'm hearing the stories from David concerning about the situation. So I really don't know if they were true or not. Got no way to get a hold of the kids anyway. That they're fully grown and still living, I guess. but uh, I always had a father. Maybe a stepdad, but it would have been something. And I guess it would have been a stepdad for David and me. I mean, Dave had a biologic. Got to a point, months or weeks before he had an accident and put him into a coma. My brother's father got a hold of us during the holiday season, and Dave and I were living in the trailer homes almost a year after Mom died. And we talked to him on the phone, both of us. And it was strange that he was, in a way, adopting me into the Shaw family. That really humbled the hell out of me. I still had a dad for a short time. I kept telling my brother how lucky he was. Just for a short amount of time. I guess I was adopted. And they wanted me. Into the family. Times I wanted to change my last name to the family name that my mother got married into, but I kept my father's name because I wanted my own identity. That would be a hell of a paperwork trail to change. Change my name and add the last name of Shaw in it. Not changing the last name to anything. I'm keeping it Weaver. But it would have been interesting, John Cameron Weaver Shaw. I fiddled around for that one for a long time, growing up. What would it have been like to be adopted into that name? I was born with the name Weaver. That was the only thing I inherited from my father that I remembered. Anything or everything else, forget it. If there was any talent in me, I don't know where the hell the damn thing's at. If there was any creativity, was I actually that creative? Maybe in my youth, but in my older adult life. But I tell you something, just actually been part of a family larger than I was. It matters. It matters to me because I feel like I am part of something or someone special, and that's why when Dee's family kind of adopted us back in '76, Sammy, Benny, Larry, Cindy, Donnie, brother and sisters. They're my kin, adopted kin somewhat. Dee was my adopted surrogate mother of sorts. And Dave and I were adopted into their family. They were adopted into ours. And the problem is, things go right and everyone else has their own lives to live. Sometimes I wonder, that family support structure needed. It kills me that sometimes I feel like I've lost out on something else again and I can't get it back. My brother tried to tell me that I was in the Shaw family. Well, officially, because I never got adopted into it. I'm considered I'm what the people would consider a half brother because of two different fathers and one mother. My mother got married legally with a father, my brother, same one. And 8 years later, after having a divorce on that one, my mother hooked up with my father, had the fling, and he disappears off the face of the earth, leaving me alone. Leaving me alone. And that hurts like hell. Because I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to feel that one. Or about it. But I'm supposed to. But the thing is, I'm not know how the hell I'm supposed to react on that one. Never was able to find a guy. I mean, it's like it disappeared off the face of the earth. Maybe, I don't know, immaculate conception or something like that. Good Lord, God's got to have weird-ass standards for a human being that he wanted born. And he's got me. I don't know what the hell I did. Did I piss him off somehow up in heaven? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I got shortchanged. I got a father. I got an excellent brother who struggled all his life. And I helped him with his struggles. But we became the bestest of buddies anybody else could ever have. Yeah, we did have our arguments, but in the end we were family. We were family. In life. In this mortal coil. We may have differed on a lot of things, but we were still not killing each other or resentful. Well, I was envious about my brother at times. Because I told him about that at different times that he was actually able to go into the military. I didn't. I wasn't medically 4F for it. It kind of sucked. By the time I was physically ready for it, I was well past recruitment. That wouldn't take me in. So basically, I had to end up just being a civilian and just support the military one way or another. But it was never easy because I wanted to know what it was like. When there were air shows or a few military events around the Southland, my brother and I would go. And he'd feel a little at home, but because of situations happened to him in the military, in the Navy, he was a little bit on edge, but he was still trying to be at home. And me, I'm trying to drink it all in with all this military stuff. I wanted to emulate it, but I couldn't emulate it. There was no way I could. Even if I was actually to wear camis. I tried to think of a SG-1 to emulate, but no, that was... People these days would think I'm going south on that one. And to think of it as I wouldn't be going south. Because I'm emulating science fiction show and I put patches on it. That was a different mindset, a different lifestyle a long time ago. Maybe I wouldn't have minded the camis. Desert camis. But these days I would. Not just to be a wannabe at this point. That's all it is. It's just a wannabe. If I was truly going to be in the military, I should have gone in a long time ago, but I didn't have the opportunity or chance. And it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. My brother got in. Skin of his teeth. Maybe God was merciful to him on that end, but maybe he was needed where he was. The thing I was concerning about family for me is the most important thing in my life. I was there all the time. brother was there most of the time, except he was going on adventures either on the road as a truck driver or years earlier in the United States Navy. But for the most part, he was at home. And I was still a workaholic. I still had to work because we still had to have bills paid. I know a lot of people would be wishing that their family members would be coming back from the grave so they could probably see them one more day. Tempting as it is, I'd say no. Not yet. Not in this lifetime, that's for sure. And the next, I don't know. I hope. I hope so. The next life. But for this one here, I'm just dealing and coping. I'll get triggered. I'll get triggered concerning about loss of family members left and right. I'll get triggered about people talking about their own loved ones that they've lost, or even the ones that they still have alive. I think my message to them is value every one of those members and every second you're with them. Even if you may hate their damn guts like crazy, when they're gone, and you already invested enough, you're going to feel the loss a hell of a lot. You'll be settled with that damn regret. I still have regret for not having contact with my biologic and not able to find him or get a hold of him or anything, or know anything about him and his family. Nothing. I heard the little stories, but I wasn't quite sure if I believed in them or not. There's nothing corroborating. So I guess they were just stories. All I know is what I've been growing up with. Without a biologic father, or without a stepdad I can call dad. No, I had my big brother trying to be a dad. It's just big brother for me. And I missed the crap out of him too. We've been there for each other. We've been there for each other. If a brother can be a father, then I'd probably consider my brother as my father. He sure still tried his best. For me, he was it. He was it.